Hello and welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm John Bachman. Joining us right now on the phone from Washington, D.C. is Senator Ron Johnson, who comes from the great state of Wisconsin. He's here to discuss the president's new budget proposal and also the new bipartisan gun control deal reached in the Senate. Good to talk to you again, Senator.
Well, John, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Let's start with the gun control issue. We've seen family members from the Newtown tragedy in Washington, D.C. up on Capitol Hill. Also, some other family members and victims of gun violence are on Capitol Hill Thursday, reading the names of those killed by gun violence. I'm sure you've seen this. I know you've been touched by it, I'm sure. But do you think this is having any impact on the way the vote's going to go?
Well, John, first of all, obviously we are all touched by the tragedies that have occurred throughout the country. And, you know, I certainly wish, as I'm sure most of my colleagues wish, that if there was a magic wand we could wave and just prevent all these tragedies. I just personally don't think there's anything we can do in Washington, D.C. that can prevent these things in the future. Certainly not when we just isolate one component, which is guns. And, of course, this president had pretty well promised that in taking a look at these tragedies, he was going to do a comprehensive review and really analyze the full range of causes. And, of course, it zeroed in immediately to guns. And, you know, I'm obviously concerned that any bill would infringe on our very basic Second Amendment right.
Now, the Senate is expected to vote Thursday on a plan to move forward with expanded background checks, specifically looking at online gun sales and gun show sales. This deal reached by Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Senator Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania. Give me your take and what you think about this development.
Well, first of all, my understanding is what we'll be voting on is the Schumer bill, which is very problematic. And all we're going to be voting on is a motion to proceed to start debating the bill on the floor of the Senate.
And to clarify, I know people get confused, and I admit that I get confused about the Senate procedure sometimes, but go ahead and explain, because this is important.
Sure. Well, the motion to proceed is a simple vote that says now we'll start debating this bill on the floor of the Senate. If you don't pass that hurdle, the bill dies right then and there. The concern I think conservatives have is the way Harry Reid Senate has been functioning, it's not been functioning at all. And even though we're told we're going to get amendments to improve bills, frequently those promises aren't necessarily met. So I think there is a concern that if we vote on a motion to proceed on the Schumer bill, you'll never even get a chance to vote on the Manchin-Toomey bill, although I would say in this case that would be highly unlikely. I think that would probably be, we're being told that will be the First Amendment.
And how do you feel? How would you vote on that amendment? Do you like the plan? Do you think it's a starting point for more debate? How do you feel about the Manchin-Toomey plan?
That's actually what I've set my morning aside to really start studying that in far greater detail. Again, I am concerned. I just do not believe that, you know, I know it sounds great, universal background checks, but I truly believe that basically what you're doing is you're erecting speed bumps for law-abiding citizens. I think criminals are always going to have access to guns, and we just increase costs. There's licensing fees to do these things, or, you know, background check fees, and it just becomes a huge burden on law-abiding citizens. And again, I just don't look to the federal government to solve all these problems. If states want to do some of these things, let the states take care of some of these problems. I just do not believe this is under the purview of the federal government.
And there was originally a plan, a letter circulated by Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, and Senator Mike Lee of Utah. Their plan was to filibuster this bill. I know you signed on in support of that. But don't you think the American people have a right to know, whether Democrat, Republican, how their elected officials stand on this issue, that a vote needs to happen?
Well, a vote will happen on the motion to proceed. You know, my guess, just listening to the conference, I think we will proceed to get onto the vote, or to get onto the bill. But again, you know, I joined that letter because, to me, it's pretty simple decision to sign that letter. I took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and that letter simply stated that if the bill violated or infringed upon Second Amendment rights, we would vote to not proceed to the bill. And so I think that'll be a pretty easy vote for me.
Senator Ron Johnson, thanks so much for talking to us. I know you got a busy day up on the Hill. We'll talk to you again soon.
Have a great day.
Thank you. And thanks for watching Newsmax TV.